The pick is in.
The Nashville Predators have made their first selection in the 2025 NHL Draft. I'm Rachel Donner, joined now by Ann Kimmel of Locked On Predators. And the Nashville Predators have selected Brady Martin with the 5th overall pick. And he was definitely somebody that rose toward the draft. Are you surprised by this pick?
Yes and no. On the one hand, I am surprised. We know the Predators are desperate need for a center, so figured they would take a center. But with James Hagens available, I think everybody anticipated that Barry Trotz would take Hagens. I am not surprised because Brady Martin is the prototypical Barry Trotz pick. One of the things that Barry Trotz talks about is how much he loves players who have a high compete level. Their motor is always going. And that is exactly how you would describe Brady Martin's game. So on the one hand, I'm surprised by who he didn't pick. I'm not terribly surprised by who Barry Trotz did go with in this draft.
Yeah, so speaking of Barry Trotz, how does he fit into the plan that Trotz is trying to put together right now for the Preds?
It's interesting. There really wasn't going to be a player, even with the 5th overall pick, who was really ready to jump into the NHL and help the team in what we're calling the now and not yet, the now portion of their plan. But I do think Brady Martin is a great selection for them as they look ahead to the not yet. He very much is, like I said, a Barry Trotz style of player. This is a position that the Predators do not have a lot of depth at. And I think that the Predators want to be mindful of the way the game tends to be going as far as side, physicality, and skill, speed. And I think Brady Martin checks some of those big boxes for Barry Trotz, maybe a little bit more so than somebody like a James Hagens would have.
Right now, Brady Martin is known as a two-way physical
Mhm.
center, but he does attack through the middle a lot in his game, which he will not be able to do at the NHL level, at least not right away. Do you think he can adjust his game accordingly?
I think that's definitely one of the areas where they're going to really work on with him is how do you take the game that he has and that he plays naturally and how do you adapt it and what edges do you smooth out to make him NHL ready? I do think the Predators want to get more towards that style. They want to get bigger, they want to get more physical, but I do think that you're going to see a growth, a learning curve for Brady Martin, maybe more so when it comes to style of play than you would have for some other prospects. I do think he's going to be a really interesting fit as you look at the kind of not yet portion for the Predators. Let's see what he can do. We talk about his motor, we talk about his size, but he is also somebody who has a great scoring touch. He's great at seeing the ice. So there's a lot of upside, and they're going to really want to lean in and grow him in that at the NHL level.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I noticed about his game is that he's really good net front and has some
Mhm.
really good tip in kind of goals. He's not like a
Yes.
flashy goal scorer, but he can get net front and get those dirty goals. Is that something that Barry Trotz likes a lot?
That curls his toes. And that's something that the Nashville Predators really struggled to get even this year. And like we said, Brady Martin's not going to come in and fix all of that in the 25-26 season, but that is what they're looking for. They're looking for that heavy presence in front of the net. They're looking for those greasy goals. Those are the players that they are leaning into in free agency. And I think as we look ahead the rest of this weekend at the draft.
So, given all of that, how do you expect the rest of the draft to go for the Preds?
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. The Predators came in tonight with 9 picks overall. I think Barry Trotz would be interested in maybe making a trade, but it's very hard to say if he can get that done and if he can find the right partner. Nashville very well may come home with 9 new players from this draft. I do think they are going to be looking next at a defenseman. They want to shore up the defensive pipeline. They are also very clear that they are looking at a goaltender, and that's a position I think they may look for in the first round. So we're keeping an eye on those 2 late round picks that the Predators have.
All right. Well, for more on Brady Martin and the rest of the Preds picks in this year's NHL draft, check out Locked On Predators on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.